Hello, I'm Vanessa Simone,
And I'm Mimi Hayes.
and we are the
The
Girls
Girls
Next
Next
Pour.
Pour. Welcome back to another thrilling episode. We're so backlogged. I think we only
Yes.
have 10, maybe 12, 10 or 12 episodes, and this is episode 20.
This
so
is
welcome
episode
to
20,
episode
so
20.
yay! Yeah, when you guys see this, it might be months from.
We're gonna get it out.
Yeah, we're on the trials or the cheapest one, so we can only upload
so many.
what 2 hours
2 hours which
per
I
month
think
or
is
something. So that's like
eight,
4 episodes.
four,
Yeah, 8. Yeah.
Yeah,
4
but you know,
episodes.
this is the process.
This is the process.
Speaking of creative process, what are we talking about today, Pete?
Oh gosh, today we are talking about a controversial topic. You've heard it everywhere. We are talking about AI, or artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that ruffles so many feathers in
boy.
so many different ways.
Can you remember when you first encountered AI?
Yes.
What was it and what were you doing?
Yeah, so I think it was sorry, excuse me. I think I was one of the first people in my family to use ChatGPT. I think it came out on within the week of ChatGPT launching is when I got an account and I started using it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool." And then as we got more into AI, you learn a little bit more about all the repercussions it has. But at the time, it was so cool and fascinating because I'd ask it a question and it was so thorough, and it almost felt like a therapist just right there for me, with any question that I had, and had me compound on my ideas even more and more. So it was very fascinating to use at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when was your first?
Yeah, I also remember when AI images and playing with your uploading a picture of yourself and it would make you look like you were in the 1600s or something. It would put you in this different
Time
scenario
period.
or time period or artistic something or other. And then immediately after that fad happened, everyone's like, this is bad, this is bad,
terrible,
don't do this is terrible because it's stealing art from artists. So all the art, everything that you're seeing was taken from an actual artist. And I remember one time I asked ChatGPT, maybe I was trying to get it to write me some jokes. I think I was just curious if it could, and I was trying to get it to write me brain injury jokes because I was like, let me see if it can do my niche topic that I like to joke about. And I honestly feel like it stole one of my jokes. One of the jokes on there, I was like, so I think I've said this on stage before, and so I was very aware that it's coming from somewhere. It's pulling from the internet. It's pulling from artists. And, I guess we can approach this two ways, the positives and the negatives. And so where do you want to start?
Let's start with the pros, the positives. So the reason why, at first I really liked AI because I think what it should do is enhance people's lives. So for instance, we right now work a 480-hour week is the total week that we work. But when I was looking at AI, I was like, okay, if we don't really need to be working 40 hours a week. We could work 25. And if AI is doing that, but we also still can get paid the same amount, this could actually be really great for everybody. And so, and if you're using AI to almost make your life easier, so I guess for instance, now of course I can't think of an example, but if I'm trying to think of some issue or solve an issue, like I remember I wanted to make a business plan for my company, and I told AI, what my business is about, and it actually created a business for me, a business plan, kind of showed me, okay, these are the markets that would be really good for you to start to look at. I thought in a way that that was a good use of AI because I don't know anything about business. By the time I go to the or the governmental website and figure out all the stuff I need for a business, that's going to take way longer when my goal is to get the business started, right? So, in
Mm-hmm.
a way, I thought, that is a better use of utilizing AI. Or sometimes, if you want to, so for instance, sometimes people now are using AI to almost sort through all of their social media. So, on social media, I have you have a TikTok, you have an Instagram, you have a Pinterest, you have a YouTube, you have all these channels, and you really just want to make your life a lot easier. So you can use an AI to kind of help you sort through your content and make sure that you're posting on each platform simultaneously or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, I'm like, that's a good use of AI because instead of me going in and spending 7 hours posting on each platform and cutting and slicing and all of these things, I can go in and do something really simply. And so in that way, I thought, okay, this is actually a pretty cool use because it's going to cut down my time and people's time personally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what about you for some pros?
Yeah, I think it's a good tool for research type activities where like
Mhm.
you are doing like snail's pace Googling and like you have 20 tabs open. And so, like, a really good example of how I use AI is I'm looking for a literary agent. And
Mm.
so I ask Chat, can you find me a literary agent who takes memoir, who says in their application or says in their profile they accept memoir as a category that they are trying to acquire. And then I will give it my query letter. I'll spit out my query, I'll send it my query letter and say, can you then, once I pick one, I'll say, can you tailor this query letter to that agent? Can you make this letter more appealing to this specific person? Or can you find comp titles? This is what my book is about. Can you find books that I can
Mhm.
mention in my
Mhm.
query letter that were in the past 3 to 5 years? I could easily go to the library and check some stuff out, go to bookstores, so that's going to take me extra time. I may not know exactly what to look for that would be on the shelf next to my book as a comp title,
Mhm.
but AI is going to find a couple good examples. And then I can go and buy those books, read
Mhm.
those books, and then determine if that is a true comp title. So I use it as a research tool and as a tool to look at certain agents and see if, like, I ask it, can you look at everything this person's ever done and make them just have to say yes to this query letter?
Mhm.
And, I think it has been helpful in that sense for me to really take all these different tabs I have open and just have like the one tab and be like, okay. And it's not always foolproof. I can guide it into other places. I use it a
Mhm.
lot to tailor my bio. I'm like, hey, can you search the internet for everything you know about Mimi Hayes and make me a new bio for my speaker profile? Boom, done. And it pulls up and I go, oh, can you add NPR? Yes, I'll add NPR in there. Can you add that I did the
Mhm.
fringe? Yes, add the fringe in there. So
Mhm.
like I do it for my bios a lot. I have it make me new bios. I have it make me show descriptions. I have it make me certain things that I just want a little extra guidance on. Knowing that I'm still in charge of it, I can still be like, no, I actually like it better the way I wrote it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I've also like had it do, and I think maybe you showed me this, but like you tell it what you have in your pantry and you want a meal. Can you help me
Yes.
make a
Mhm.
recipe out of what's left in my
Yeah, what's
kitchen?
left in my kitchen and yeah.
So that, or I'm trying to lose weight, how much protein should I get, or what's a good meal
Mhm.
plan to have? Things like that are kind of easily slapped up that um, I'm not trying to pass any of that off as like, I think that a bio for a speaker profile is pretty low stakes. I never have it right for me, like
Yeah,
like
we
my
don't
actual
have it
content.
anything that we do create it like our own, we don't have it do that cuz we want it to come from our brains.
Yeah. And
Um
there's a big pushback. A lot of people are going completely clean of AI and are
Mm-hmm.
swearing off of it, and there's good reason for that.
And rightfully so, because what AI does is you hear about all these data centers being made. These data centers use a ton of water because they they also need to be very cool. So if you think about your normal computer server room, those server rooms are usually really hot if there's no air blasting. So you have to use a lot of AC to keep it cool. But also because of the amount that AI of memory and the cloud is technically the data centers. So the amount of memory that it's using is so much that it needs all these data centers in order to sustain itself. So this is where people don't like it because obviously our world is we're going through global warming, we're going through all of these things. Why would we accelerate the downfall of this planet, you know? So it's totally understandable where they're coming from. And I think this is why as we get into the negatives, like when I hear people saying like I've seen some really stupid things on TikTok of uses of AI, like why am I feeling this way toward my sister? I'm sorry. Why are you asking an AI that? That's just
Mm,
not a good use. And it's very difficult because you see the pros and the cons, but I mean, Mimi, you just had an example that you just told me about, and I have an example. So I think
yeah.
that those would be good to kind of discuss the caveats with AI, what's going on with that. What
Hmm.
was it that
Yeah,
you
there's this big controversy right now in the publishing world that a book that was scheduled to come out with a top publisher has been pulled from publication because of AI allegations.
hmm,
Now, I'm not sure if it's just the cover art or if it's the book itself was
mm-hmm,
claimed to be written by AI or it had some hand in it, but I know it was a black queer writer, and so there's been a lot of like negativity towards the author themselves, and so that's been really hard for that author. And I'm like thinking of how that author must feel. Like,
yeah,
it true? Is it not? I have no idea. You
mm-hmm,
know, I just know the book's being pulled and everyone's talking about it. Um, I truly can't imagine trying to pass anything through an AI and then trying to send it to a publisher. Like,
mm-hmm,
that hurts my head because books are so precious and thoughts are
mm-hmm,
and I know how hard it is to write a book.
mm-hmm,
And so I could understand how someone would want to take a shortcut, but it totally takes away the creativity of it and your
mm-hmm.
personality. Like, as
Yeah.
hard as AI might try, you know, it can only do so much. It can
Mm-hmm.
only really do so much, and it can try to replicate your personality and your, you know, voice,
Mm-hmm.
but it's never going to really get there. And so, you know, I've just been hearing people talk about that and um, kind of the implications of that moving forward. Are more people going to be trying to do this and trying to write
Mm-hmm.
books through AI?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's one thing to use it as a marketing tool as an author. It's another thing to use it as to be an author,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to use it as a way to create the content itself. I think there's a line that can be drawn between I'm using it to help me on the business side of being an author,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whether that's help me find an agent, help me approach publishers, help me with my career letter, help me with my bio, you know,
Mm-hmm.
help me with these small pieces that go into being an author. But I'm totally against using it as, hey, write me a book, write me a chapter.
Right.
Just no, we can't.
Yeah,
Can't
and
be doing that.
yeah, and we can't be doing that because AI, one of the downfalls is you look at the new generations of children coming up, it's really difficult for them to simply write. They have to ask AI everything in order to think. And one that's kind of one of my biggest fears with AI is the lack of utilizing your brain power, your own personal brain power, and seeing how hard it is for kids to write a paragraph. They're complaining about writing a paragraph, 5 sentences. You know, we busted out papers in a few hours, you know? So that's one difficult thing. And then on the digital side or the like there was an influencer who uses AI to basically edit her photos. And this influencer used an AI to edit her photos this one time, and it actually put her face on a black woman. And mind you, this black woman's photo was not AI. So somehow this AI either took her photo from the internet or so and then put it into that, or the AI kind of replicated that person's body and did that. And so that's was going around. And then also we've seen AI take people's voices and replicate them. So even in whether you're a high profile person or not, AI can just take your voice pretty much and turn it into something. And so and people can almost utilize AI to impersonate somebody else. And yeah, now there's people who have to have safe words so that way they know, okay, this truly is an AI or this truly isn't,
Yeah, the scammers. Have you
because
seen
the
the scammers
scammers
are
can.
using AI to take a like I saw this one that was like the new scam is like they'll send you a picture of your loved one who's like
Mhm.
tied up in a van and they're like send us $1 million or they're gonna get it. And so it's like that's not a real photo, but
Yeah,
they've
but
used AI to
mhm.
make that person that you know look like they're in the back of a van.
Mhm.
And so that's scary
That's
that they're
terrifying.
doing that. Or they can replicate the voice, make it sound like a loved one saying,
Mhm.
"Hey, I'm kidnapped. Please send them $1 million so they'll set me free." I've seen that. Have you also seen the AI actress?
Oh, I have not seen the AI actress, but I have seen other AI influencers, and that's
Yeah,
terrifying. But
there
no,
was
gosh.
there's an AI actress. I can't remember her name, but they like everyone's like, why are you giving it a name? Like
Mhm.
it's a robot, you know. But
Yeah.
Hollywood is a lot of people are pretty upset that
Mhm.
it's claim this AI actress is claiming to be the next Scarlett Johansson or something. And it's like
Mhm.
you're taking away
All these jobs
completely
and thing,
for no reason
a whole art
a
form.
whole art form and a whole batch of people that
Mhm.
want to act, and now you're just going to make it be an AI that
Yeah.
every inch of them looks perfectly curated and they don't have a flaw in sight. I
And
saw her
that's
face and I was like, that's not. It was
mhm.
like a culmination of like all face, like it was just this like kind of Kardashian like perfect symmetry, curated face. And I'm like, that's not a real person,
Mhm.
like we want real people, we want real art.
Real people, real
So,
art. And yes, and going off of that, that's one of the scary things is that it could take over so many people's different types of art forms if we let it. And so the other thing is it's not really regulated. And so a great job if you want to be a lawyer would be to get into AI law, because
mhm.
AI is not really regulated at this moment. And so it's sort of just going haywire. And that's pretty terrifying. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm really it's a really torn subject because I could see how it could be helpful for people in certain little things that could be harmful, but then when it comes to the impersonations and taking art and stealing art or making art and then people profiting off of this fake AI generated art, that's really problematic to me. So, yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of
I think it's kind of the Wild West right now, and it's not being regulated, but it's impacting every level of society.
right.
It's impacting getting jobs. I
Yeah, so
found
many
this out
people.
that,
Mhm.
so many companies are having AI sort through their resumes instead of having the HR or whoever, the hiring manager, instead of having them go through every application, every resume, they'll
Mhm.
have say to AI, "Hey, get rid of anybody who has this or this or this, or only send us these people." And it
Mhm.
got to the point I heard that if you had any kind of images on your resume, any bolded font, any strange font that was not a standard basic font, any kind of creativity essentially on your resume, and it would boot you out.
Boot you out. And
And
then
I'm like, my resume is not even getting seen, anymore. Everything's being passed through AI, and then jobs are just being completely replaced by AI. Graphic design, illustration,
yeah, it's really difficult because a lot of people, exactly, because one of my things is photography, but it's watching people who love the art almost be displaced because of AI. Like, for instance, one of our friends is a graphic designer, but they said that in the company that she works for, it's like all of the graphic design is actually being done by AI, but now the client just wants to look at it and be like, oh, approved or disapproved, shit, fix this and this. So it's taking away that creativity that we as humans are designed to create. We are made to create. It's in our essence, it's in our core. I mean, even my sister, she's an interior designer, and she's seeing people who come with a full design and they're saying, this is what I want my house to look like, do this, so she's not even getting some of the creativity that comes with her planning it out. And so it's a very difficult line because it's taking away the humanity of it if we let it. And so, but whereas there's other things though that people don't want to do, and I personally think AIs should do the things that humans don't want to do. That's where I kind of fall.
Yeah, like if we could give AI the grueling factory jobs, the coal mining, give it mining for minerals on the moon, or like something that humans just physically cannot
or
do,
should not be doing,
or do not want to physically do, but don't have it do art. That's ours. That's our thing. So it is super harmful to humanity and everything that we stand for. And I'm super worried about the kids these days because their critical thinking is just shot to hell. I mean,
plummeting.
I can't even imagine also trying to be a teacher right now.
Yeah, like teachers, shout out to you.
I dealt with plagiarism, and that
was before AI.
It was before AI.
Can't even imagine plagiarism.
One time a kid plagiarized. I showed a video in class on like it might have been about coal mining or something about history. Showed some video from YouTube, and I get this paper written by this student, and I go, I've heard this before. Where have I heard this? They literally transcribed the video that I showed in class and tried to pass it off as a paper.
Oh my!
And I was like, "You're dumb as shit." Like I played this video. Like it's not even like you picked a different video to transcribe. You picked the video I showed in class.
Yeah, at least pick something.
You transcribed it, and this is also he had to transcribe it by hand because that was before transcription stuff where you could feed an AI a video and say spit out the transcript, because that's AI too. I think accessibility is a big thing. Like I think there are ways AI can help disabled people, and especially when it comes to transcriptions or captions or doing certain things. There's actually a way to, when you're playing a movie, have the scenery being transcribed, verbally explained for someone who can't see, so that they're seeing the set pieces. Oh, there's a green chair in the middle of the scene, and they're walking towards the chair, and so like they can actually get a picture of everything when they're watching a movie. So that's super cool. If you could have AI do that for us, make us a transcript or a live caption or something that is going to be helpful for somebody who wouldn't normally have access to that. Or if you can't write, with your hands, you can't use your hands, have an AI. Speech to text is AI. Speaking into your phone and having it pop out what you say, that's AI.
Filters are AI.
So there's a lot of benefit to some of this stuff, but I think it gets so out of hand and we don't have a handle on it at all. We don't have control over the powers that be. So we're just kind of like, everyone gets to make their own decision if you want to use it or not. if you know what you want to use
Mm-hmm.
it for, or if you just want to swear off of it entirely. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people would have to say no to it entirely for it to make a difference,
Mm-hmm.
personally. But I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
No, yeah, I think you're right. A lot of us would have to say no and take a stance, which um and going off of it too, is there enough representation in the people who are creating these AI platforms that the AI doesn't become biased like humans? Because I mean, if AI is going off of things that are from the past, it's a pattern recognizer, so it recognizes patterns. So kind of going back to even your job application case, there were some times too where certain things would look for qualities within a job, but they would start to notice, oh, most of these are like males. Let's only get the males now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Let's only get the people with a more generic name or whatever. And so you can actually block out whole populations, or like people of color, or people who have who need accessibility access, or any of those things. So it's really difficult, and I think we're both on the consensus it needs to be significantly more regulated, and before it gets too out, like crazily out of hand. And also they need to figure out a way to make it not use up so much data in a way, but that's a whole nother story for another
Yeah,
day.
right. I don't even know. When I learned that too, I was like pretty devastated. I was like, oh, so we're just wasting water now just for no fucking reason? Like,
Hmm.
that's crazy, you know? So my, I guess, advice is think before you use it.
Yes.
Ask yourself, you know, is there someone I could call who has an answer to this question, or could I
Hmm.
come up with this answer on my own? Could
Hmm.
I use my own skills? Um, or is this something that is going to benefit me, is going to be helpful, and is appropriate, is not
Hmm.
creating art, is not doing critical thinking or anything like that? It's just something
Hmm.
that you're using as a tool to get by, or using for accessibility. And you also have every right not to use it,
Hmm.
you know? Um, but some people are very passionate about AI in both cases,
In both,
pro and
yeah.
con,
Hmm.
you know. But man, the people making this stuff, they're just rolling in the dough. Like these
Hmm.
people creating these AI companies and
Yeah.
just running away with it. It's just
Yeah.
getting way too out of hand.
Hmm.
So, what's the last thing you asked AI?
What did I ask it? I don't remember. I think it was to help me. Oh, I think it was to help me understand a different type of job role, what a creative consultant was, and the ways that I can incorporate into my daily life or something like that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
So yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, because I'm looking for a new role, because I'm looking for a new job. So if anybody knows, has a creative consultant role open,
Mm-hmm.
apparently I would be really good at that because I'm great at coming up with ideas and helping people with ideas, and idea starter. Great
Mm-hmm.
idea starter.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me to execute though. So yeah, what's the last thing you asked AI?
I asked it to write me a show description for my new show that I'm writing. And so I needed to upload my show picture, which we just did
Oh yeah,
a
last
photo
week.
shoot for
Yeah.
last
Mm-hmm.
weekend. So I made myself. I didn't have AI make my show poster. I made it myself. I'm very proud of it. And then I uploaded the show poster, and then I said I need a 50-word description and like a one line like little teaser of like what the show is. And it's Darla, who's a tour guide.
Darla. Hopefully this
She's
gets launched before then,
quirky.
so we can say, yeah,
Come to
come to
Denver
Denver
Fringe.
Fringe.
Yeah,
Denver
June
Fringe.
4 through 7, I believe.
Oh, it's only 3 days. Why did I think
four
it was?
4 days.
Oh, I thought it was
5,
literally
6,
like
7.
2 weeks.
Oh no, I wish. It's just a long weekend, but
Okay.
yeah, I have it do show descriptions for me. Anything to kind of summarize. If I'm like trying to summarize something, stuff like that is the last thing I asked it to do. Which I like that it. I like that it asks for like feedback, and it's like, do you want a spicier version? Do you want like a more unhinged version? Do you want it to be more like polished or fringe specific? It'll like ask for different kinds of like ways to make it better, which I think is cool. But again, we're just trying to weigh the pros and cons, and don't be too hard on yourself. I'd say that, like, you don't hold the weight of the world on your shoulders because you did one ChatGPT thing. But, think before you GPT.
Think before you AI. And I think that concludes the Girls Next Door.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.